Well, welcome to this podcast series on rewirement for success. My name is George, and I am a certified transformational trainer. And I want to tell you why I'm doing this podcast. 3 years ago, when I was confronted with retirement, I was terrified. I thought my life was over. So I needed to understand what this meant for me, but I didn't know exactly where to begin. Then I discovered how to rewire my thinking, and it has transformed my life. Since then, I've talked with others about my experience, and they said, George, you need to share this material, especially right now with what's going on in the world with COVID 19. The sooner others know this, they can make informed decisions and take control of their life. I totally recommend that you do not wait until you're 63 years old like I did. If you have questions, you can email me at yourrewirementforsuccess@gmail.com or check out our Facebook page, Your Rewirement for Success. This is the fifth podcast in the series. I encourage you to send me an email. I will send you the e-workbook for this series with practical examples on how to use E plus R equals O in your life, exercises to work through, and especially the exercise today that we're going to talk about, resolving a difficult or troubling situation. This could be one of the most impactful exercises that you do. I strongly encourage you to play full out with this. Pick a situation that scares you at least a little bit. So if you have them, let's open up these workbooks. Resolving a difficult or troubling situation. It is an exercise in the free workbook of today's webinar if you indeed ask for it. The key to resolving it and moving forward is, realizing that you are creating it and allowing it to happen. So don't fail to respond because it's uncomfortable. So these are the questions that we work through. What is a difficult or troubling situation in your life? How are you creating it or allowing it to happen? What are you pretending not to know? What is the payoff for keeping it like it is? What is the cost for not changing it? What would you rather be experiencing? What actions will you take? And what requests will you make to get the outcome that you want? When will you take this action? And one of the things that I generally ask people when they're working through this is on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest probability, on a scale of 1 to 10, will you follow through on this action? Because if you won't, you need to go back and work through it again. Obviously, there's something that you're not, thinking about in your situation. But trust me, this is a very powerful exercise that you can use. You can use with family members if they'll, work through it with you. It is something that I would keep available for when, there's something that's bothering you and you can't find a resolution. You need to sit down and actually work through it. This exercise can often be hard. Often a difficult or troubling situation isn't one we would be comfortable sharing with the world. And if you pick a safe situation, you will get an understanding of the power that this exercise actually has. I encourage you to listen to this podcast again and pick a truly difficult or troubling situation that's bothering you. And if you have been waiting to really step up and play full out in these podcasts, this is the time to do it. Now, here's an example that many of us can probably relate to from a past situation that I experienced, actually. So, what is a difficult or troubling situation in my life? Question one. Well, a friend owes me money and they still haven't paid me. Question two. What payoffs or benefits do you get from keeping it like it is, George? Well, I avoid an uncomfortable conversation with my friend, and I don't have to face the reality that they may not be able to pay me back. Question 3. What costs do you pay for keeping it like it is? The cost, to me, is literally just money, but my friend is also avoiding me, so it's also costing me my friendship. How do you create it or allow it to be like it is? Well, I loaned them the money, and I wasn't sure that they could pay me back. So I put expectations on my friend that they may not be able to meet. I have not been straightforward in asking them to repay me either. Well, what do you want instead of the situation that you have now? I want to enjoy talking to my friend and spend time with them without the stress of them owing me money, and I would also like to be repaid, of course. That's a given. Well, what actions could you take and what requests could you make to get it? I could talk to my friend and ask them about their financial situation, although that feels a little uncomfortable. If they are unable to repay me, though, however, I could let them know that their friendship is more important than money to me, and that they should consider that the money was a gift instead of a loan. By doing this, I could be, I'd be able to save my relationship with my friend by communicating what was really important to me. I could realize that my friendship was more important than the money was, and one of two things had to change if I want to maintain this friendship, obviously. Either my friend would have to change, but if they can't make the expectation of payment, then they can't. Or my expectations of my friend would have to change. Now, knowing everything that I know about taking 100% responsibility and E plus R equals O, realistically, what is the one thing that's most likely to change in this situation? What do I have control of in the situation? The only variable in the situation that I have control of is my expectation of having my friend pay for this loan that they can't afford to pay. So, can you relate to this story at all? Have you had expectations of another person that, became more important than maintaining your friendship with them? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe you have to, request the funds. If that's your situation, and that's fine too. But we have to be aware of where our boundaries are and respect others enough to maintain them. Decide what your outcome is you want and respond accordingly. There would have been nothing wrong with this person saying, hey, I need to be repaid in this situation. And that's more important than maintaining our relationship. Importantly, be aware, though, of the outcome that you wish to create. Is the outcome you are creating in alignment with the outcome that you desire? So I encourage you to think about your difficult or troubling situation. Are you creating the outcome you ultimately desire, or are you allowing reactions to create an outcome for you? Like, I don't want to deal with this reaction. How confident are you that you will resolve the situation and create the outcome you really want? If you truly work through these questions and answer them as honestly and as truthfully as you can, you will come to a solution that works for you, the outcome that you want. As you repeat this exercise with other difficult or troubling situations, you may notice a pattern in the ways that you create or allow things to happen. taking 100% responsibility for those patterns will empower us to start creating the outcomes that we desire automatically. So I encourage everyone to complete this exercise a few times before this challenge is over. If you struggle doing this exercise, it can help working through the exercise with someone you trust. This is actually a very powerful action. They can ask you the questions out loud and record your answers for you on paper. And this lets you think about your answers without stopping to record something. Rather, you spend your time thinking and feeling out your answers, what works for you. Working with someone can take this exercise to a much deeper level. Plus, you get the fact that once you made a decision of what you want to do, you share that with someone, and sharing your goals and your steps to success with someone is always a positive direction to go. So thank you for listening to podcast 5. I encourage you to continue to keep using E+R=O in your life to respond to get the outcomes that you want.